This is a huge game and someone's World Cup dreams have got to end. My name is Mark. Let's talk rugby. Ireland v Scotland. It's in the Stade de France in Saint Denis, just on the outskirts of Paris. This one is on Saturday, 7th of October, and kickoff is 8 p.m. BST. This is world number 1 versus world number 5. It's an absolutely massive game for both of these teams. Now, we'll have a look at the teams, starting with the Irish selection. So, fullback, we got Hugo Keenan. Got to be as reliable as we know he can be under a high ball, but also offer something in attack. Against a Scotland team who, they're definitely going to try and, put some kicks up. We know Scotland like to kick the ball as well as to run it as well. So, himself and then Mac Hansen there on the right wing too. So they've got to be very good under that high ball. Centres, we've got Gary Ringrose and Bundy Aki. There's no Robbie Henshaw. Now he's out for at least another 2 weeks, and it could be, we may not see him again this Rugby World Cup at all. James Lowe there on the left wing, again, got to be good under the high ball. Got as well, his return kicks are key, I think, accuracy with those, not kicking loosely to that back three, because Kinghorn, Darcy Graham and Van der Merwe are all gonna hurt you if you just kick loose balls to them. The centre combination, Bundy Aki as well, he's been probably Ireland's best back, I think, in this Rugby World Cup, it's fair to say. Gary Ringrose, he hasn't hit the heights that we'd like him to see, but this is a game that he's could step up in as well. Halfbacks in, as expected, Johnny Sexton there at 10. He came back from suspension and injury and looked like he didn't miss a beat, but he's going to be at, have to be at his absolute best as well in this game. James Gibson Park there at 9, so key to keeping that ball quick, but he's got to be smart, because Scotland are probably going to attack us at the breakdown early on. He's going to be smart enough to tell his forwards, listen, I need more help here. I don't care what the game plan is. If we've no ball, there's no point in you standing, ready to receive or to run the dummy line. You got to get in here, secure that ball. So I want to see him being a little general there as well. Bossing the forwards around, making sure that his ball is as clean as possible. Onto the forwards end, front row, we've got Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Tadhg Furlong. So Sheehan back starting. Hopefully, he is fully fit. He gives us, so much in the loose. But also, got to get his darts right. Ireland have struggled with their line out. They need to fix that. The scrum has gone very well for them, thankfully. And, I think part of that is the fact that Porter and Sheehan have really begun to come into a bit of form, and we need to see more of that from them as well. Tadhg Furlong just doing the basics, basically, and none of the fancy stuff that we kind of associate with him. But I'm happy. Listen, if he does his basics and we win the game, that's happy enough for me. I don't need to see him throwing offloads or sidestepping people or anything like that. Just do the basics, scrum well, lift well in the line out, be a menace at the breakdown, protect our ball, and then when he's got the ball, run it hard, make yards, and pass the ball. That's all we need from into the second row. Then we got Tadhg Beirne and Ian Henderson. So no Ryan in there. So Ryan is going to be a big miss, because he's been one of our best forwards over the last couple of years, just so consistent, and he does all that hidden work as well. So Henderson and Beirne, both of them, they have their own qualities. Like Beirne, he's such a menace at the breakdown, great at maul defense. Henderson too there as well. Henderson, decent carrier in the loose, good on maul attack as well. He adds ballast. Both of them will add ballast to that scrum. But it's Ryan that does that unseen work, a lot of clear outs at the breakdown, and one of these guys has to step up and do that. Can't always be going for the poach. You need to just make sure that our ball is clean. Into the back row then, you got Peter O'Mahony there, 6, another option, for the thrower and the line out. I think that's going to be important as well, that we vary our line out so that it doesn't get picked off the way South Africa were able to do it. Got Josh Van der Fleer at 7, hasn't hit the the heights that, won him more player of the year, but he's still a really good player. But he needs a big game in this one. I think Caelan Doris is probably our best forward, this season, and carries well and not afraid to get in there and do the hard work as well. So again, that back row, we need an absolutely massive game from them if we're going to win this one. Onto the bench then, Ronan Kelleher. He's not sure when he's going to come on, because I'm not sure about Sheehan, being fully fit. So he might have to play a lot of this game. And again, got to hit his darts, got to scrummage well, do the basics, and the stuff that he offers around the park is in a bonus, but we need those basics from him. Kilcoyne, again, he hasn't let us down anytime he's come on. We need that to continue. Finlay Bealham, probably our best tight head this year. Furlong, coming back into a bit of form now, but Bealham, he's definitely going to offer us a lot more off that bench. James Ryan is there on the bench. When he comes on, he's going to add a lot to our game, I think, because again, he just does so much work at speeding up our ball, and late on, if he can do that, and then we can release some of our backs from that, that's going to be great for us. But personally, I'd rather see him starting than on the bench. We've got Jack Conan there as well, at who's probably going to come on at 8, maybe for Omani, with Doris switching to 6. Conan, he gives you something different there. He's more of an offloading 8. He will give you carries the same way Doris does, but he's better for when the game loosens up a little bit. Got Conor Murray there at 9. Really has kind of almost reinvented himself. He sped up his play, which was a big factor, I think, in him getting that spot at backup 9, because we do need quick ball from 9. Before, he was a little bit ponderous last season when he was playing for Ireland, very ponderous, but sped it up, and he's got that threat as well to snipe too, and I like to see that in his game. His box kicks as well, got to be on point. Got Jack Crowley there at 10. He's been excellent this season, such a breakout year for him, and being picked over Ross Byrne, and he's getting picked on merit. He's definitely the backup to Sexton now. Wouldn't be surprised as well if the game is tight, if he's going to go for a drop goal to maybe win it for us. And we've got Stuart McCluskey there at 23. So, McCluskey, he gives you kind of, nice options in terms of you can bring him into the centre, and then, so Ringrose can move out to the wing if we need, and he's, he gives us another hard carrier as well. But not just that, he's got the skills to go along with that, like offloading game. He can be, he doesn't just run blindly into contact. He also looks to exploit space as well. So he's a decent one to have on the bench, and I'm glad that he's getting, a chance in a big game, and hopefully he can deliver for us. Onto then the Scotland team. So, another just team packed with great players. Fullback there, Kinghorn, he's going to be coming into the line as a second playmaker. His pace is going to be a threat. Ireland, can't let him get into open space, because it's going to be very hard to actually hunt him down if he gets any kind of meters on you. Darcy Graham there on the right wing, picked ahead of Kyle Steyn, and you can see why, because he's in great scoring form, and another big threat that Ireland have to watch out for. Hugh Jones and Sione Tuipulotu restored as a partnership in the centres. We had Harris in there previously with Jones on the bench. So, these two, they've both been playing well. It's just whether they can combine the way they did in the Six Nations. If they can do that, Scotland have every chance of winning this game. Duhan van der Merwe, such a massive threat on that left wing. And, what I like seeing about him this World Cup is he's not afraid to come off his wing and look for work either. He's not just going to stay out there and wait until somebody puts him through, into space on the wing. So Ireland, again, have to watch out for that. He has to be stopped early. If you don't stop him early, if he gets a bit of momentum going, he's going to get his team over the gain line, and you're in trouble. Ireland's scramble defence is very good, but players like him are going to test it to the limit. Finn Russell then at 10, such a Rolls Royce of a 10, and he's going to be looking for those gaps to exploit. Ali Price there at 9 beside him. Kind of surprised there. I thought it might have been White with Russell there, but Price has been playing well and deserves a start there. And I think they're a good combination there too. They know each other's game, and that's going to be maybe important for them in this one. The front row then, we got Pierre Schoeman, George Turner and Xander Fagerson. So, Schoeman has kind of played himself into being, I think, first choice now. George Turner had an excellent Six Nations, and he's just continued on from that. Got to hit his men in the line. It's kind of similar to Ireland. If the lineup goes well for the hookers, I think the rest of the game then is going to benefit from that. Xander Fagerson, good to see him back. He was kind of coming back, I think, from a knock or something, but now he's fully back there. Going to be a huge battle there in the front row in the scrum and around the park as well. Second row, you got Richie Gray and Grant Gilchrist, which is the preferred pairing there. Two great players there as well. Such threats in the line-out. Back row, then you got Jamie Ritchie. Been leading this game really well as captain. Rory Darge, who has just absolutely demanded that he get picked, such has been his form, and he rightly starts at 7. Got Jack Dempsey there, preferred to as Xander Ferguson, not Xander Ferguson, Matt Ferguson at 8. And he's been carrying really well. He's been looking for offloads. He's been getting on the scoreboard as well, like scoring tries too. So he's absolutely another one who deserves his start. On the bench then we got Ewan Ashman, Rory Sutherland and WP Nell. Again, these guys are going to be very key when they come on to whether the scrum is going well to keep that going, or if the scrum is struggling a little bit to turn it around. And we've seen them doing that through this World Cup. They really have had impact off the bench, all three of them. Scott Cummings as well, another guy who does really well off the bench for Scotland. Matt Ferguson, he's played excellent off the bench too, trying to force his way back in the team over Dempsey. But I think with the two of them battling out for that 8th position, Scotland just benefit from that. There's no Hamish Watson. He wasn't fit coming into the end of the season, and I think Rory Darge's form has just meant that he hasn't done enough to force his way into the team. We've got Luke Crosby there as well, as cover. And we have George Horn as to go for a 6-2 split. And Ollie Smith there is going to cover the rest of the back line. So obviously if Russell has to come off, Kinghorn is going to slot into 10. And then you would imagine that Ollie Smith would go to 15 in that scenario. But yeah, it's two amazing teams that are picked. And, we talked about it before, but it still bears saying again that these two teams should not be in the same pool. These two teams should rightly be at the stage now where they've already qualified for a quarterfinal and are thinking about how are they going to make a semi-final. But the way things are, let's talk about who I think is going to win this. So, both teams have been consistently in the top 5 in the world over the last few years. You don't do that by being a poor team. And, both of these teams absolutely deserve to be in the quarterfinals. Other than, a weird scenario where Scotland win by 21 points and deny, is it? Or, yeah, no, they win by 21 points and Ireland get a try bonus point, I think. Other than that scenario, I think South Africa are through to the quarterfinals. So it's going to be one of these two, which is still crazy to me. But there was like some talk about collusion between the teams, and maybe they'd fix it so that South Africa get knocked out. But like, just think about it. This is rugby, right? And you've seen how bad like rugby administrators are at organising anything. Do you think they could organise for two teams to get two sets of players who both want to win the game to collude so that Ireland are going to lose by 21 points, but Scotland are going to let us score 4 tries? get out of it. Like, that's never going to happen. Like, there's no way they'd be able to organise that, and there's no way they'd be able to keep it a secret if they did. So whatever kind of talk of that is just bullshit as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, there are lots of different scenarios in terms of, you know, in terms of like who needs what and that kind of thing. So basically, Scotland, if they win and deny Ireland a bonus point, and they win by, I think it's more than, is it? Yeah, it's more than 5 points. If they win by more than 5 points, Scotland go through, as long as Ireland don't get a losing bonus point in that scenario. If Scotland get a winning bonus point and Ireland get a losing bonus point, the same kind of rules apply as well. They have to win by more than 5. So if Ireland get a losing bonus point and they lose by 4, Ireland go through because they'll have the best points difference in among the 3, and then Scotland would go out because it then goes to head, and South Africa have beaten them in the head, so South Africa will go through. But if Scotland win by more than 5, it means that then South Africa would be the team with the best points difference, and they would go through, and then Ireland and Scotland would go to head, and Scotland would have just beaten Ireland, so then Scotland would go through instead of Ireland. So there's lots of complex maths, you know, and I'm sure commentators will be scrambling to explain it if it comes down to that in the end. But let's just talk about the game itself. So I think Scotland are going to attack Ireland where we've seen teams have joy against Ireland. That is, you get at the breakdown, you put players in, because Ireland don't like to put too many players in. They like to have, you know, that wide attacking line and have lots of options. So you flood players in, you turn their ball over, or you just make it so slow that they can't run the moves that they want to do. And then, you know, with the likes of Darjan there and Richie, they're absolutely going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to get in there, probably win some penalties as well, and put some scoreboard pressure on early. Ireland are going to have to adapt to that. That's one thing that this Ireland team over the, you know, Joe Schmidt team has, is that they can adapt on the fly. But this Scotland team have shown in the past that they are masters at adapting within the game. You know, they don't come back so often without being able to do that. So this is going to be a game, I think, that's going to swing back and forward all through the game. And, you know, it's going to be whoever can finish the best of the two is going to come through with that win and get that quarterfinal spot. You know, I have to make a prediction, and I'm going with my heart. I'm an Irish man. I've got to back Ireland. As much as I'd love to see both of these teams going through, I don't think that very unlikely scenario is going to happen. And if one of them's going to go through, I'm backing Ireland to go through, but only just.